everybody, it's Hattie from Paint It Yourself Pottery, and welcome to our first children's paint along. Big welcome to everyone who's painting along with us today. If you're not painting along with us today, then feel free to just tune in and you can ask us any questions as we go along as well. So I'm just going to show you our paint along for today. It is going to be this flower print mug, and I'm going to teach you all the different techniques to make these lovely flowers on here. So this half term, Monday through Friday, we're doing a paint along every day. Our first one is the flower print mug. Our second one, which will be tomorrow morning, every day there at 11 AM. Our second one will be this bubble bowl. I'll bring it up close so you guys can see. Got some lovely bubble print design. This one's a lot of fun and really messy. And then we've done some fingerprint fish and different underwater animals on there. So that one will be tomorrow at 11 AM. And then Wednesday will be this dandelion clock side plate. And this one actually we will be printing using the inside of a loo roll. So that one's quite a fun one to join for, but that's Wednesday at 11 AM. And then our paint along on Thursday will be making your own door plaque, and we'll be doing this rainbow feather design. And we'll be using string to be making that one, so do join us for that one, 11 o'clock on Thursday. And our final one this half term will be doing an oranges and lemon plate, and this one actually will be using printing techniques as well to create the trees. I wonder if you can guess which one, what we'll be using to print the leaves on the tree. But it will be revealed on Friday for that one. So those are the paint alongs that we will be doing every day this week. If the shop's actually closed today for bank holiday, but if you'd like to join us for any of the paint alongs from Wednesday onwards, then you can go and collect your pottery or arrange a delivery on Wednesday with on Wednesday through the shop. You can just call the shop line on 01242 575700 or drop us an email, rachel@piyp.co.uk. So we're going to get started on our flower print mug now. So the first flower that I'm going to show you how to do will be this one here, and I wonder if anyone can guess what we use to make this flower here. We'll see. I'm just going to squish out my paints first. So the colours I'll be using will be the number 3, you can see this one here, and the number 9. Now the reason why I'm showing you these colours is because our pottery paint looks a lot different now compared to when it comes out of the kiln. It looks quite pale at the minute, but it will look a lot brighter once it comes out of the kiln. So this is why we use our colour wheel as a reference to kind of see how our colours will come out once they come out of our big oven. So what I'm going to do is just squish out some of my red. You can see the colour difference actually now. I'll show you up close. There we go, that's the red now. And you can see how much brighter it comes out on the wheel. Oh, Rona, you've guessed it, yes, it is a fork that we'll be using to print on our mug. So I'm just going to squish out the yellow as well. Now, for those of you who are using our little paint pots at home, the best way to get the paint out is to scoop it out with a paintbrush, and I would recommend scooping it out on onto the plate. Sorry if that's quite noisy. We've got a runway just behind us for microlights, so there's some planes that will be taking off, so do bear with me. I'll see if I can get a shot of one of them landing if they land this way, because it'd be really cool. flat surface. So what I'm going to do now actually is use a paintbrush and just spread the paint out a little bit, just so we can really roll our fork into that and get a good print. That's great. So this bit can be a little bit fiddly when we're getting our tulip, fork tulip prints on there. But what you want to do is take your fork, and I'm going to go with the red one first. So I'm just rolling it in the paint. Just let me know, guys, if you can't see, if you want it closer. So just rolling that fork. So sorry, guys. You just had a little bit of an accident there. Let me just give you a rub on the head. There we go. Sorry. Let me get you back straight on there. A little bit windy out today as well. There we go. You're all back. So I've just been rolling the paint, the fork in the paint there, and then what we will be doing, this is a little bit of a tricky part now, because our mug is a round surface. This is a lot easier when you're doing it on a flat surface, but I believe in you guys. I feel like you're up for the challenge. What we're going to do is roll our tulip onto our mug. So we're going to start at the bottom and just use that to print all the way up, and we're just going to go side to side a little bit to get the paint all on there. Bring it up so you guys can see. I'm just rolling it a tiny bit side to side. Just going to make sure I've got that bit there. And there we go. We've got one fork tulip. So you can use lots of different sized forks. This one's quite a big one. And then I'm just going to use a cloth to wipe that off so I can use it again. It might be quite cool if you've got some baby forks to see whether you come up with some little baby tulips as well. So we're gonna just dip in the yellow as well. You see that I'm rolling so I can get the paint right on from the base of the fork. Rolling it up. I want to have about that much paint on it so you can see it all over. Hello Hayley, miss you, hope you're doing good. And then just going to roll straight on with the yellow as well. You guys are having a nasty fall today in this wind. I'm so sorry. I'm going to see if I can get you set up a little bit better here now. 2 seconds. It's the perils of live video. Yeah, the wind's just really picked up since you're online. Okay, let's give that one a go now. I hope you guys can still see me there. Okay. Right, that's a bit better. Feeling a bit stable up, more stable up there. So I think we're going to stick it with 2 tulips on there for now. I think I'm happy with those 2 there. So our next step will be to take our dark green, or you can take your light green, whichever you prefer. I'm going to go with the dark green today, and you actually only need the tiniest bit. So I'll show you as well the colour of the dark green. So that's the number 12 here. So it comes out really nice and dark, but with this one, guys, you need to be really careful because it is a super dark green, so you really don't need very much at all to paint with this one. Then as you can see, I've just added some stalks and some leaves on the tulips on that one. So what I'm going to do is just take my brush, medium-sized brush is fine, dip it in the paint, you don't need any water, and we're just going to give our tulips a little bit of a base to sit in, and then the stem as well, so you can see. Lovely. So not sure if you guys can hear in the background at the minute. There's lots of noises going on. They're building a greenhouse next door, so that's what you can hear. All those tools in action. So now we've done our first tulips, looking beautiful. What we're going to do is move straight on to our lavender. So that's these flowers here. And what we're going to do these flowers here actually is we're going to use some cotton buds. So I've got a bundle of around 10 here, and what we're going to do is we're just going to bunch them together, just bash them a little bit on a hard surface so that we can kind of get them all roughly at the same height. Then I'm just going to use a hairband, but you can use an elastic band just to group them together. So tie those ones up. Lovely. And then we have got our basis for making our lavender print. I'm just going to put that to one side, and now what I'm going to do is squish out some of our lighter green. It's better to use our lighter green for the stems of our lavender, because as you will see, we're going to be printing our purple on top of it. So I'm just going to do 2 long strokes with a paintbrush. That's 1. That's 2. There. It's really nice and easy. Just like that. Now what I'm going to do is squeeze out my 2 purple colours. So I have gone for the 23 here and the 25 here. So just going to squeeze those out, and I'm going to squish them right next to each other on my plate. Don't actually need very much paint for these ones. Now what I'm going to do is using I'm just going to make sure, give them another little press, make sure they're all kind of roughly the same height. So I'm just going to dab those in, so it's got a mixture of all the colours on there, both colours there. I'm going to dab a tiny bit of the excess off because there's going to be quite a lot of paint on there, and then I'm just going to go for it and dab them straight onto my mug. Now you'll see that you'll need to keep dipping in with your colours, and what I'm doing is actually rotating my hand as well, so I'm turning it as I'm printing the lavender on, just so we get a mix of both of those lovely purples on there. Really nice, quick and easy technique, this one. So I feel like these colours have mixed a little bit too much now, so I'm going to use the other end just to get a really nice technique on the other side as well. Beautiful. How quick and easy was that? Let me show you guys. How great does that look? Just going to see if you guys have got any questions at this point. Oh, a spork would be a really nice idea there. Oh, Hayley, Hayley says, what would you recommend if you wanted a background? So we're not going to be doing a background today, but I am going to do a bonus technique at the end of this one, which I'll teach you guys, which you might like to do on your mugs at home. But if you did want a background colour, then you could paint your mug before we started. But what I would recommend is choosing a really light colour and mixing it with some water and just doing a really light coverage all over your mug, so you can make sure all of the colours on there really pop when you're doing the printing. But yeah, you could definitely do a background colour. Yes, Verona, the wind has been horrible. I'm really sorry for dropping you guys twice, but hopefully you're all nice and secure on the tripod now. So we're going to move on to our third flower now, which is actually made using fingerprints. So what the colour I'm going to use for this one, I like to think of this one looks a little bit like a forget-me-not, just because it's that nice blue. So we're going to use number 18 here, really nice and bright. And this one is so quick and easy. So what we're going to do is just squish some of that out. What you want to do is take your finger and we're just going to have a look at where we want it on there to make sure it fits in with the rest of the mug. And what I'm doing, I don't know if you guys can see, I'll bring it closer, is I'm dipping my finger quite flatly into the paint so you can see it's a nice, it's not a circle, it's a nice oval shape on the paint there. So I'm just gonna print it straight on, nice and lightly, and there is our first fingerprint. You're going to need to dip your finger back into the paint every time, just so you've got enough paint on there. And I'm just going to do 5 petals on my flower, just going to make my way around, keeping my finger nice and flat. Nice flower there. So what I'm going to do now is just use my cloth, let's wipe that off again, and now I'm going to do the inside of the flower with yellow, and this I'm also going to do with my finger, but I'm going to dip in the tip of my finger. So now I'm going to keep it nice and pointy. Don't want to get my nail in on it, but I do want it to be nice and round, if you can see. Just keeping it on the tippy top of your fingertips, and I'm just going to print it in the middle there, so it's nice and round. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is do our stalk. Just take our paintbrush again, just like we've done with the other stalks, and I'm just going to use some of that dark green again, and just do one nice stalk coming down. So we've got a few different options to finish off our mug. Now we've got our 3 flowers, different printed flowers on there. So a nice idea would be to do some grass all the way around. I've not got that on this mug here, but feel free at home. And a good way of doing grass is just taking your paintbrush, just like we've done with the stalks, and you can use a mix of the 2 greens and just use brush strokes to make lots of lovely grass on there. Another idea, which is what I'm going to show you now, is to do a polka dot background and make some little polka dot flowers. So what I'm going to do for this is just take an ordinary paintbrush, and we're going to use this end of the paintbrush. We're not going to use the end with the bristles. So I'm going to do, I think, about 3 little polka dot flowers just in between where I've got a space on here. And what I'm going to do is start off by doing the yellow middle. So I'm just going to dip, but you guys are going to go again then in the wind. What I'm going to do, I'll show you, is I just dip the end of my paintbrush into the yellow. I want to get quite a bit of paint on there, as you can see. And then we're going to just dot it straight onto our mug. So we've created a nice little polka dot there. I'm just going to do that in a couple other places where I want the flowers to be. So that's going to be the middle of our flower. I'm going to just wipe it again so we can use a different colour. And I think I would like my dotted flowers to be purple. So I'm going to use the darker purple here and just dot, dot. You might have to dip in every time just because the end of a paintbrush can't hold very much paint. Just dot, cute little background effect and just add another print to your mug. Just doing loads of flower prints today. There we go. Just done a couple more there and there. Look really sweet. Now to fill in the gaps, I'm going to do some random polka dots all over. I'm going to use up my light green to do that, just to fill in the gaps a little bit. So I'm just going to dot all over. Really nice and simple. It's a lovely day today. I hope that those of you at home are able to get outside and enjoy the sunshine today. Go. So I've just done some nice green polka dots all over, just to fill in some of those gaps. So there is our flower print mug. The only thing extra that I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some sponging around the rim and around the handle, just to finish it off, because I think that would be really nice to frame our lovely mug so far. So what I'm going to use to do this, because you guys have got to use what you've got at home, is you can use a clean sponge. So that can be any sponge, like a washing up sponge, but just make sure that it's clean, because if any grease gets into the pottery, then the pottery has tiny little holes, and the grease will fill up those holes, and those holes should be filled up with paint or glaze. So it just means that the paint and the glaze doesn't want to stick because the grease is already in there. So if you guys just make sure that your sponges are really nice and clean before you use them, or your cloths, and because what I'm going to use instead is a cloth, and show you how to do a sponged effect with a cloth today. We will be doing some more sponging later on in the week, so I'll show you that with an actual sponge as well. But for now, let's see what we can do with a cloth. So what I'm going to do is take a pointy finger. I'm just going to wrap it in a clean part of my cloth here, as you can see. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick to the same colour as on this mug, which is our nice 25 purple. I'm just going to dip it into the paint and dip off the extra onto the side there, just like what we did with our cotton buds, just to make sure we've got a nice coverage but not too much. And then I'm just going to very lightly print it all the way around the top of my mug, keeping my finger really nice and light. I've just, by the time I've got to that point, started to run out of paint, so I'm just going to dip it back in again. Just be really nice and light. So there we go, got a nice purple rim now, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the handle. So I'm just going to take it as close as I can to the edge, and then I'm just going to really lightly sponge the edge, top edge of that handle there. You see it's got a really nice texture to it actually. Hope you guys can see. Just going to take it all the way down as well. I don't know if you guys can see the texture on that, it's really nice. And that is our flower print mug complete. So you guys at home have learnt 4 new printing, or I guess 5 new printing techniques, which was how to print tulips with a fork, how to make lavender prints using cotton buds, how to make a forget-me-not style flower using fingerprints, how to make some little flower decorations using polka dots and the end of a paintbrush, and how to do some sponging with a cloth. So I hope you've really enjoyed this video where you've been learning some new printing techniques on pottery, and I hope you enjoy your brand new flower print mug. You can come and drop it off at the shop and we will glaze and fire it for you. So we are open Monday through Friday 11 till 3. We're just closed today because it's bank holiday. So but we'll be back open normal times 11 till 3 tomorrow, and we just do a doorstep drop off and collection service. So oh, thank you very much, Danielle. I also love the lavender technique, that's my fave too. So yeah, feel free to come and drop off your pottery, and we will get it glazed and fired and let you know when that will be ready. It's normally taking about a week to get stuff done at the minute. And do join us tomorrow. We will be making our very own bubble bowl, and for the rest of the week, where we will be learning a different pottery painting technique every day throughout half term. And for the mums and dads watching, I just got to let you know that on Wednesday night we are doing our happy hour, which is a flash pottery sale where Rachel will be going live on Facebook, and she will be showing you all of the pottery that we've got on offer in the shop, and everyone is a winner. So if you buy a pottery item, you just have to comment sold and your pottery piece in the comments, and for every pottery piece that is sold you win a prize. So do join us for that. It is a right giggle, and Rachel has to have a drink every time an item sells. So that's 8 PM for those mums and dads at home. So thank you so